In the Zoom
there's another
your
thing.
daddy's on a meeting.
My phone don't understand.
On the record, guys.
Is that man hacking? You can't hack now, bro.
Can you guys hear my kids in the background?
A little now and they said something.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, cool. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to all of our viewers to this particular video. It's a slight change for us here at Youth Uncapped. I am Ahmad Solomon, also known as Alpha, as you can see by our names in the bottom of the screen. Youth Uncapped is a youth leadership development program where we are the core members or facilitators of this program. Myself and the rest of the participants on the screen with me. Also, there is another member of ours that's not with us right now, actually getting married tomorrow. So she's not with us right now online. And we wish her all the best for the big day and the days after that follow the rest of their lives. But anyway, so what this video is really about is that we as facilitators in this youth leadership development program, part of our objectives is to role model the objectives that we are trying to achieve in terms of growth and development for youth. So we are going through a growth process ourselves. We have been from even before the start of the youth program. We started with the development of our facilitators. So more than 3 years back, we've been reading different books, sitting together in mentorship sessions, leadership training, all of that kind of stuff together. And one of the blessings that came with COVID-19 was that we learned that it's easier to share things and much more people can benefit very simply with it, just a couple of adjustments to what we do. So we're busy with our weekly book reading. So basically what happens is we read different chapters of different books that is in line with youth development and our own personal growth and development. And that obviously gets the team on a similar mindset and way of thinking. So the book we're currently busy with is The 5 Love Languages of Teenagers, right? It's a book by Gary Chapman, and this book has a bit of like a slogan there, the secret to loving teens effectively. We are already at chapter 7 in this book, in our personal program, and from this week on, we are going to be doing we're going to be recording it and posting it. Actually, we're going to be doing it live. Just this first video, we had a couple of technical difficulties, but we'll be sorted by next week. So we put this video up there. It feels slightly different. We're trying to keep the feel the same. It feels a bit different. I see the team is starting to smile now, but yeah. So I'm Ahmad Solomon, known as Alpha by the youth, and we got these nicknames. Just kind of makes it a bit more easy and accessible to youth. They don't call us sir and ma'am and teacher or instructor or facilitator. These nicknames kind of work. And then to my right over here we have Stallion. You can give us your name, Stallion.
My name is Roy President. I'm the Stallion.
So he's our coordinator. You don't have to say your name so formally or so. He's our coordinator. And then I'm going to hand over to, so we have I'm the team leader of Youth Uncapped. Raik is our coordinator. And then our 2 cool members of the core members, self-dubbed. Go for it.
I'm Dayan.
Camila.
And then we have the infamous Papa B, who there's nothing else that can describe him at Youth Uncapped other than Papa B. So yeah, that's Papa B. You can tell us your name, Papa B.
My name is Imran Solomon, also known as Papa B.
Okay, so we're gonna get cracking immediately. the way we do this is that everybody presents just for 5 minutes on some of the things that stood out for them. Maybe one or two of the points they want to pass on to us as a team, or maybe just something that they want to relate or that caught their attention. 5 minutes exactly. That's also part of our leadership training. So when we reach the last 30 seconds, Ninja will just indicate we have 30 seconds left. And when we reach the end of 5 minutes, she just starts clapping. Everyone starts clapping, whether you're done, whether you're not done. That's that's your thing. 5 minutes is up, and then we have a quick feedback round, just like a minute each, and then we continue to the next person. And when we're done, we're gonna call it a night. So from the next program on, obviously we're not gonna have this very same introduction. We're gonna come on, it's live. We're gonna start. We're gonna say which chapter we're busy with, and then we're just gonna move from there. So again, 5 Love Languages, chapter 7. So we're gonna start with our very own Ninja. Go for it, Ninja. How about if you going first? Who's timing you? Thor, you're gonna time her.
Yeah, I'm
I got it.
placing it, but he's gonna look. Yeah, okay.
Teamwork.
Okay, cool.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Hello everyone. Assalamu alaikum. I will be presenting on the 5 love languages of teenagers by Gary Chapman, chapter 7. In this chapter, the 5th and final love language is discussed. Just some recap. So your love language is the way you show love and what makes you feel loved. And it's important because we might be loving people, but they're not feeling love because we maybe not communicating that love to them in a way that works for them. For example, if you like hugs and then I'm telling you that I love you, but you need to feel it physically, then you won't feel love. Whereas if I like words and you hugging me and I'm just like, just tell me you love me, then it will be misunderstood. So that's the purpose of love language. So we'll be discussing gifts. My first point is what are gifts and how to give gifts. So the what. The author mentions in the book that gifts are visible and tangible evidence of emotional love. So what would speak love, which we are trying to do with teenagers, and what wouldn't speak love? The author speaks about giving a gift for something in return. He mentions that this is not displaying the love language, but rather making a deal or it's manipulation. For example, if you tell a teenager, clean your room and then I will buy you this chocolate, then that's not really giving a gift for love. That is making a deal. And he said there's nothing wrong with making a deal, but if your aim is now to fill the love tank, your love tank is like how much you need love, and if it's not to what it needs to be, it's described as a love tank. It won't work if you're making deals rather than just giving gifts out of love. So to speak the love language of gifts, we must give the gift without anything attached to it, no expectations. Now we get to the how. So with a gift, love is shown through effort. Example, when you're wrapping a gift or you're writing a note with a gift, or making a small treasure hunt with the gift. When it is obvious that thought and effort went into presenting the gift, then love will be felt strongly by someone whose primary love language is gifts. Note that the purpose here is not the actual gift, but the love that comes with the gift. So we need to make a big deal about little things. So for example, if we're making a cake, we put it on a nice plate and maybe put that on a tray. That would be a good, effective way of showing the love language of gifts. And we need to celebrate it. So this celebration, or as the writer describes as the ceremony, this is where the love is expressed. Yes, so if we get maybe, we want to buy a teenager a pair of shoes, and then we go to the shop and then they put the shoes on there and then we go home, that's really not taking the most out of like what it could be, of what kind of an expression of love it could be. As if you bought a tacky maybe and then you wrapped it up and then presented it with a note and a hug, you're making a ceremony out of it, and that's where like the love will be felt. Okay, so the writer then speaks about money as a gift, and is this effective, like how did this work? So it is mentioned that money can be a gift, but the teenager first has to understand the value of money. This is done by letting the teenager work for money. If the teenager is given money frequently and on demand, they won't know that there is always effort attached to money, and the money will be of little value to them. So once they've put effort into working for money by having a job, then gifts of money will be appreciated. For example, if they know they have to work an hour for maybe like a 20 rand, or like just put in a lot of effort to get money, then and you don't always give them money just for random times, then when you do give them, maybe like put it in an envelope and you write a note and like say, I appreciate you, this is a gift, then that money would be a gift. It won't just be like something you're just always giving them whenever they want to go out. And then lastly, I'd just like to give some tips from the book about giving gifts. So we need to ask, is it good for the teenager? Because obviously our purpose is to express love. So we need to ask, is this going to help them or not? Gift time versus responsibility time. For example, when we're giving a car, like, is that something meant to be a gift, or is that a learning opportunity when we want them to actually work towards it? Teenagers' interest, just give something that they like. For example, even if it's a chocolate, don't just buy something. Think about what do they like, so you can express the love by taking their interest into account. And then lastly, private and treasured gifts. So that's like family heirlooms, giving gifts that will pass down, and then private gifts, just doing something to have quality time between the two of you.
We need to hear everyone else's
Oh,
claps.
my time is a bit soft, but that was time.
No, my mic was still on mute.
Yeah, Mama was also on mute.
Mine also.
Okay, I just
Nice.
Okay, well done, Ninja. I think you were like to the second there on the timer. I watched those hands started clapping there on time, so that was quite nice and well prepared. I'm even just so I'm going to start with my minute of feedback very quickly. Very well done. I think you took a nice angle on your presentation to kind of just give like an overall summary, as opposed to like just focusing on one particular thing. So that was very nice. So anybody who watched that will get like in 5 minutes. This is kind of what you need to know. So that was very nice. And then it just brings to mind a moment in Youth and Cap that I have to mention. Like, if you guys can remember the day we walked into KFC after we did the 3D mini golf, the 3D glow in the dark mini golf. So we were gonna buy them lunch either way, right? You know, as a gift from Youth Uncapped, and that's what we do on each event. For those who don't know Youth Uncapped, we provide a meal at every single event. So this event we were gonna buy lunch. We were gonna buy it either way, but like Ninja, you were saying, like, pull the most out of the gift, man. Like, you know, the shoe example that you mentioned. So we came into KFC, right? And we know already, look here, what's the most a teenager could buy, and it didn't cross the budget of what we actually were going to spend. But we got the full leverage because we stood there and we told them, now you can buy whatever you want. And it's like just ceremoniously, like, we gathered them and we're like, guess what, guys? You can order anything. And they were like going super crazy. And then yes, afterwards, not like afterwards, but I mean, we said, look here, guidelines, obviously you can't buy stuff to take home. You can't buy stuff on themselves. It's your lunch. It's your thing. Buy you whatever you want. And they bought them, and it was just like so amazing, man. And I think we gained so much from that. So it just reminded me of that moment, but well done overall.
And
And kept. So go for it.
yeah, so well, I think that so what I thought was that, like, she prepared really well, and especially giving context to it, like knowing that this is the first event. So I don't know if she planned to speak first, but I think that was done really well. And also, I think the points that you touched on was almost every single thing that I touched on, so now it's like competition. So yeah, but yeah, so like the points that you said stood out for you, those are the exact same things that stood out for me, especially like when it went into defining what a gift is. I found that like super amazing, but I'm not going to go into that because that's like my talk itself. But yeah, I think that's very well done.
Papa, we go for it.
Well done. From one thing going to another. That was amazing. Always energy, always tops. The whole overall thing, and I like the way that you just kind of gave everyone just a small summary, a quick summary. So definitely thought that was planned out, Magru. She planned to go first because that was like on point. She gave like a super summary of everything, and then you chapter 7 like wind out. So very, very good, Camilla. And I mean, even your timing was like very, very awesome. So well done.
I had to leave stuff out. I didn't tell you, but just like, thank you.
I had to still tell me.
Keep quiet.
Otherwise, I'll fire up.
But you didn't know,
Yeah, good.
so it's working. Like what you
So
learned.
like, what did I
so
lie
far.
to? Like, okay, and I'm fasting then.
No. Oh my gosh.
Nah, well done, well done, well done.
Dylan, go for it.
Yeah, from my side, Camilla, well done. I think there's only positives to give. And the main thing that from my side that stood out was the examples that you gave. The book doesn't share much examples. And I think just bringing it to reality, bringing it down to actually what you can do, what you can give as a gift, and that just brought it back to reality. Yeah. So thumbs up from my side. Well done.
Okay, well done. Okay, who's up next? I think it's Stallion. Go for it.
All right, guys. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My love languages on chapter 5. The chapter starts off with basically an example of a father giving a very special, like a medal that's given to the child, right? And the child is wearing this around his neck, and he says that the importance about it wasn't how, I think it was a symbol or something regarding some type of religion, and it wasn't that. It was more the gift that the father gave, and every time he wore this gift, it reminded him about his father. So that comes right at the end about what Camilla said as well about giving something that is really important to the child and that it will stand out forever and ever. So it comes to the next point, that what makes a gift, and a gift that is tangible and something that's visible is very important, which comes also to one of the points that I'm going to mention later, is money. It's like it's here, but later it's gone, so just keep that in the back of your mind. A gift is not something that a teenager deserves, right? It is something that a parent wants to give, right? So once the parent gives the gift to the child actually thinks, wow, what did I do to deserve this? It's nothing that the parent actually, or the child actually deserves this gift. It must be something that the parent actually gives to the child. And it's like a big surprise, like, wow, what did I do to deserve this? That type of feeling the child must get. It mustn't be something like, if this is not achieved, right? Like if this is not achieved in your giving the gift to your child, and then you're not fulfilling the love tank of giving a gift, right? So this is not achieved. I'm going to go on to the next point, and this specifically is, how do we actually do it, the ceremony of giving the gift, which is quite important, okay? The presentation of the gift. Like, if everybody knows, if I make a burger and it doesn't look that awesome, I just threw everything together and the lettuce is falling out and whatever the case, and it doesn't look lekker, then I'm not going to want to eat it. But the minute the burger looks good, then I'm going to really enjoy it. And the more effort is put in to the ceremony and how you present it, the more ribbons you put on, the more colorful it looks, especially for those who have daughters. It must look nice. It must maybe put a bit of flowers on, rose petals, and whatever the case is. And remember, fathers out there, that those who have daughters, you are the one who your daughter loves first. So you need to stand out the most, just on a side note there. Okay, so I'm going to move on to a few points that you need to remember. And this is very important. The timing must be important. Don't give it to your daughter when she's like going through that phase of PMS and stuff. Remember that the time is important. The setting must be important. And the way you give it also must be like, look, don't touch her and stuff like, teenagers are like awkward. Like, I don't know, how must I give this gift? So you must find the right time and space, take her out maybe to Mug and Bean. I don't think Alva's going to be happy with that, but, find a good coffee place in town. Okay. So, comes down to the last point that I want to mention is gifts and materialism. Is that as a nation we grapple with the economy right now, and these times are very, very tough right now. So materialism, we think that everybody wants to put things on basically, and trying to get the most technology and give this to your child. Is this the right thing you need to do? So you need to look at it and find out if it is appropriate for your child to do and to give this gift. Okay, parents must check, and ending on this point, parents must check if the gift is good for them and in the interest of the child. Okay, they just guys.
Okay, so
Roy,
well done,
I
Mr.
feel like you should have always presented online. I feel like I'm seeing a whole different side to you, and I love it.
I must first acknowledge the shout out to the fellow dads. It's like dads of daughters. So anyway, may Allah preserve and protect your daughter and all of our children. I mean, and those to come. So firstly, well done, Stallion. I think obviously a clear point is maybe just work on the timing a little bit. Because we kind of started clapping. I don't know if it's because your Zoom was stacking a little. We had delayed. But well done. A well done presentation. And obviously, just a quick note to those who are watching this, that if you see the rest of the team like looking down and writing stuff and maybe reading stuff, it's not necessarily that they're not paying attention. It's because we're writing. When others are presenting, then we are learning from them as well. And we making notes, like they were showing over there. So we all have our little notebooks over here that we compile based on what we learn from one another as well. So when you see the rest of the team maybe looking down, whatever, we all just kind of learning from one another. And then just another quick one, obviously, is that I forgot to keep going. Well done, Stallion. Nice presentation, and I definitely learned a lot. And I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna work with my daughter as well. So yeah, shukran for that. Go for it, Ninja. Also.
Okay, I like your point on giving, not because it's not like something from you. So like they didn't like deserve something. It's not like you're rewarding them. You're just giving because. So that was a nice point. And then I wrote here that your fatherness came through. You look like you're experiencing some teenage things. And so it's really nice because I think it made you very passionate about this specific topic. So it was nice to see that. So you had good energy, and then a time plan. I don't know. It could be because of the stacking. And then lastly, yeah, just the energy again. It was really good. So
I've been to actually on my timer here on my phone, but then I ended your feedback, and then after that
Technical issues.
you're on, and like, oh, okay. So I did the time wait for the feedback. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, from my side, what I liked about your presentation was at the beginning it seemed personal, like you were picturing what the author was saying, like with that example, and then it like got personal to you specifically. So like I felt like I was seeing your daughter there in front of me, and like you were trying to that burger example. Whew, that what had me like. I pictured you walking with this burger, and the lettuce is on the side here, the burger's falling apart and stuff. Like you tried to make like easy burgers, but didn't work out so nice for you. But like it was nice to picture. So yeah, it was nice to hear like that side and like see that side of you.
Cool. Papa B.
So well done, brother. Well done, well done, well done. The energy was awesome. Just the points you brought up and the examples you made. And like I'd say, I could actually picture you also doing that. And like the whole awkwardness between the teenager and the parent type of thing, because I've experienced that myself. I don't have teenagers yet, but I've seen when when it's just the wrong time and for that mom to give that son a hug right now, or to give them a gift before they leave, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, that was very, very, very important. But overall, very good. And like Alpha mentioned, just the timing, obviously. But that you get right, man. As we go on, you practice, practice, practice. It's gonna become perfect. So well done.
Okay, cool. Just before we jump into everyone get feedback, right? Yeah. So just before we jump into our next presentation, I just want to say that that point that Papa B mentioned is very, very important. Just our parents and facilitators and coaches and whoever's out there, even youth as well. The importance of knowing the timing, because many times we do things because we need it more than them. Like, I mean, when parents drop a kid off at a youth camp, like, hug the dude at home because he doesn't want to be hugged by mom there. Now, to the youth, yes, hug your mom. Come on, just hug your mom. It's okay. But to that mom, sometimes it's just, maybe he enjoys the hug so much that he doesn't want it in public. So the timing of that thing is really, important. And it might be something that's important to him, and he doesn't do it half-half. He's worried about this, and that's just an example. But in general, the timing is very, very important. So that's just a note I thought I'd mention. Okay, cool. Who's next up? So, go for it.
Okay, that one. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So the book that I'm presenting on is The 5 Love Languages for Teenagers by Gary Chapman. And we're speaking about chapter 7, which speaks about the love language of gifts. So what I liked about this chapter was that it contextualized things that I've experienced. What stood out for me in this chapter was how gifts was defined. Firstly, I've read the 5 love languages before, and my understanding that a gift was a present. You give someone something that they like, and that's a present. However, he clearly pointed out that the context and environment in which a gift is given determines whether it is truly a gift. And also there are emotions attached to when you give that gift. So a gift is an undeserving gift, as Roy also mentioned before, which means what it says. The person does not deserve the gift. If they deserve it, then it's likely to be an agreement or a transaction. For example, I'll buy you an Xbox game if you pass all your subjects with 60s. Or we can go to the movies if you do the chores or this amount of work. That's more a prize than a gift. So a gift should be unconditional. Then the context in which a gift is given can achieve the goal of the love language of gifts. This also links to the gifts presentation, such as not going to the store and buying it there and giving the present there, but rather buying it, taking it home, wrapping it, maybe writing a nice letter, and then giving it. It shows extra effort on your side and adds a personal touch. Then 2 other points which you mentioned, or the context as well, was that the effect can be different in a public setting versus a private setting. So sometimes on a birthday occasion, when you invite everyone to a certain place, it would be appropriate to give a certain gift, right? But when it's something more personal, then sometimes the context calls for you to call that person privately. Maybe it's because the present is more expensive, or maybe it's because there's a sentimental reason why you're giving that present itself. The context would call for whether you would do it privately or in public. And the last one is that it means a lot more if you give a gift which is something you like, irrespective of its value. So sometimes we place or we put value on a gift based on how much it costs. But for example, if you give someone something that they don't like, so we have a boy over here, he loves playing soccer, and I buy him the most expensive golf stick. That golf stick can be extremely valuable, but he's not going to like the golf stick, right? So And then we move on to the next one that I found interesting was the link to parenting. So it speaks about the manner in which gifts are given, and the way recommended by the author was to make the teen work for it so that the teen doesn't become materialistic. This can have different meanings in different contexts for different people. If you always hand out gifts, for example, you going with friends to the movies and your parents say, here's 100 Rand, or here's a 50 Rand, here is money for X, Y, and Z. The child would have that as an expectation and it loses the value of the item. It's not significant that money was given to purchase the item. When you work for it, it shows the child the effort which is needed to get the present. Or the gift, sorry, not the present. So the next time I want a new shoe, I have to wash dishes for a month, or I must wait until Labarang, for example. The second method used to effectively give gifts is that you give money with a purpose attached to it. So, for example, this shows that you have responsibility with what you're given. So, for example, if you go to the movies, here is a 50 Rand or 70 Rand to go to the movies, right? And here is money specifically for food. And this is something that I relate to personally because that's something that my mother brought me up. So it had to do with simple things, as in I don't always have money. So when I ask mommy for money, I'm going to have a situation where I'm gonna ask mommy, can I have a 70 Rand to go to the movies? And then you get that, right? So just that showed me that the value of the money whenever I ask for it is not something that you can just take and keep taking every single time. So you would know that, okay, I am not going to ask mommy for money 2 weeks in a row, right? And then the final thing that stood out for me was that people have different circumstances, and my time actually ran out. Yeah.
I'm a clap over, my thing was on mute.
Okay, so well done, Phil. Did someone maybe buy you a golf stick?
Yeah, that was
I
class.
can buy
That
you,
was class.
I'll buy you a soccer ball.
Or soccer boots, yeah, definitely.
Soccer boot. But well done. Nice, relevant example as well. To parents, again, it's not what you love or you value; it's what they love and what they value, which is important. So, shukran for pointing that out. Though that's amazing. I think that was quite valuable and well put together. And if that was anything I had to say, then it was solid timing. So yeah, next up, Ninja feedback.
I like the definition of the gifts that just added more to like what we're speaking about, a better understanding. And the examples like the Xbox, the movies, the golf sticks, it made it like in our minds we could picture things and made us understand things better. Was the time at the end, I think for next time, like you don't have to say you ran out of time because you were doing so well, and any point you ended on would have made the presentation good. But saying it looks like, oh, maybe you made a mistake. But like you didn't need to do that because like I would have clapped and you would have maybe been done and no one would have known. So yeah, but I mean, I like the parenting look at that. That was really good. You looked at the points of money and like you added a personal touch. So that was also nice to hear. Yeah, it was good. Okay, that's my feedback.
Go for it, Papa V. Or Stalin, go for it, Stalin. You want?
Okay. So yeah, from my side, I like that. Like you mentioned specifically the going into the examples of the ceremony and the gifts. So it was really cool on that. And the interest of the child is, I think you brought that out quite clearly about the golf sticks. You know, don't buy something that the child is not interested in. I think it's also important that you find out also about your child. You know, so that you don't want to buy something that you don't know about. But otherwise, it was good. I liked it. I liked the presentation. I think though, connecting more to the how can I say, to the audience and not to your page all the time. So maybe like have some key points and not read it off. So some key points and not reading all the time. I think that would be cool.
Valuable. Valuable.
Didn't hear the
Papa,
last
go for it.
part, but okay, cool. So there, so that was very good. I like the fact that you always have a natural smile, right? But one thing that really gripped me was it was as if you were enjoying it, right? So I don't know. Like at the end, you said like, oh, you ran out of time, whatever the case may be. But even that was with a smile. So just the positivity that you brought over within that was amazing, and that's what kept me hooked. Was the smile? You know, oh, this guy's like loving what he's doing, whatever the case may be. You must be enjoying it because you can't be smiling if you're not enjoying something. So that really got me hooked. And then obviously the examples was awesome. And then yeah, just own it. But other than that, that was very good, very good. And I don't like you said you had like a similar to what Camila said, but I mean your own flavor made it your own presentation, man, and that's what I grand. So so yes, you might have linked in terms of some whatever the case may be, but just because you kept it original to who you are and like you know how it affected you and those types of things, like that was awesome. So I didn't hear anything about Camila, like you were like tops, man.
I think also I just want to mention something here to Thor and to the rest of us, right? Something which somebody taught me through about public speaking is that no one knows what's on your page, man, right? Unless you shot yourself in the foot to say, I'm gonna make 5 points, and you only reach 4 by the time the time runs out. The time runs out. You covering only 2 or only 3, you feel incomplete. You're like, oh my word, I didn't. But you know, everyone else is with you, and when you leave on 2, you might leave feeling, I only covered 2 of my points. But everyone else is like, you're the guy made 2 amazing points. 5 minutes, 2 points, bang. So no one knows what's on your page. Just as a tip to Thor and everyone else, always remember, no one knows what's on your page. Even if you feel incomplete, doesn't mean it's incomplete. So well done to everybody. And again, it's the intention, man. The intention's there. We do our best. Prepare as best as we can. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. Okay, Mr. Papa B. Go for it. Oh, yeah, go for it, Ninja.
Oh, I just want to say, I just have feedback on feedback. So the sandwich thing. So when we're giving feedback, because I realized like I was reading my feedback in the way it's written, but sometimes maybe the negative one is lost. But then don't mention the negative loss. Like do the sandwich. So positive, negative, positive. Because then you leave on a good note, still getting all the things in. So I did that wrong also. Then I try to add my other point again. But yeah, just so we can all think of it.
100%.
Very good.
So
And
positive,
like
negative,
that.
positive.
And it's a very important point to our parents as well, or youth, and anybody, any human being, to remember that point. Praise before you criticize, right? And like Camila saying, make it a sandwich. Positive, bring the point you want to bring across, and end on a positive. So that's quite awesome.
I didn't make that
I
up.
thought when you said, it's okay, it's okay. Okay, Papa B,
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. I go.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so Bismillah. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Hi everyone. Hope you guys are doing awesome. So, I'm going to give you the presentation on the awesome book, 5 Love Languages of Teenagers, by Gary Chapman. We'll be discussing chapter 7, right? And the chapter 7 is about the love language gifts, right? So when it comes to gifts, the main thing that, or the one thing that we need to teach the kids the value of the money, because like was mentioned before, is that when they don't know the value of money, then it's like everything else, right? So the ways you can use money to fill a love tank in terms of gifts is by using, not only giving them a how can I say, a voucher or a gift voucher or anything in terms of where they can spend the money. You can actually use the money to get a gift to give to the kid, right? And when it comes to giving the gift, when it comes to handing over the gift, timing is like super important. Yes, you can have random and you can have gifts out of the blue, surprises, whatever the case may be, but the timing is perfect. the timing should be perfect. If it's not perfect, no problem, but work on when you want to give, how you're going to give, in the space of who you're going to give, if it's just going to be you and the kid, whatever the case may be. And one of the main things is that it shouldn't be a reward system. So I'm giving you a gift because you did so and so and so. I'm giving you a gift because you did this and that and that and that. The gift should be random times, but also a time where the kid should be wondering, what did I do right? Right? And if that is the norm, then obviously you need to change that up and spice that up. How you're going to do that, we don't know. But it should be a gift that has no any linkages towards it, where you did something or you got good grades or you got whatever the case may be, and then now you're getting a gift. Right? Because the intention behind the gift is also super important. Your intention behind the gift needs to be to fill the kids' love tank, not to buy them over, not to give them something that perhaps maybe in the future I'm going to say, remember I gave you a gift, or to pull back on that gift that you gave them. It should be solely for the filling of the love tank, right? And the very, very important is to give a gift what the kid actually likes, what the kid is actually inclined towards, right? And many examples were given, but my example is that you can't be giving a kid that wants to be swimming, all right, a rifle or a gun or whatever the case may be. It should be something towards them going into the swimming line or whatever the case may be, but something connected to that. So you need to find out what your kid actually likes. And the way you're going to find it out is by spending time with him, all right? And this is one of the important points that I want to bring over now, is that you need to find the love language within your child. Yes, we're discussing gifts now, but your kid might not be a gift child, right? So the previous love languages that was discussed before was words of affirmation, right? Physical touch, quality time, and acts of service, right? So you need to spend time with your kid to actually find out what is my kid's love language, right? And that is super important, because the moment you know that, okay, my kid's love language is X, Y, or Z, it's either acts of service, quality time, physical time, words of affirmation, or gifts. The moment you know that, then you need to be working on whatever that child's love language is, and obviously through that you will be filling their love tank. So yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you very much.
I'm ready to see them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well done, Papa B. Obviously, just for our viewers out there, and Papa B did that quite nicely, addressing the viewers specifically. That look here, we're talking about one love language, but there's quite a few others. There's 5 love languages in this book specifically. Find out what is your son or your daughter's love language. It might be even a combination of 1 or 2. Definitely one will be prominent. Another one is also as important, and to the degree, some of them have even all of it, but on different degrees, different levels. So well done, Papa B, on that, addressing the crowd there. I also want to address the crowd also that the pause at the end is because everyone's expected to present for 5 minutes, not more, not less. So if, like when Stallion was speaking, and he kind of was still speaking, we had 5 minutes, we start clapping. If you're not done, we're waiting for 5 minutes until we can start clapping. So that's kind of the procedure. So Papa B, work on the timing a bit over there. And then your enthusiasm was absolutely amazing. Like, you complimented everyone else's energy, and then you just brought a whole nother level of energy. So I think bringing that energy, something that's passionate, that you're passionate about, definitely hold on to that, because just that energy, that passion, it's like just fired me up. So well done on that overall. Okay, Stallion, go for it.
Just on that point, I think Papa B just brings the positivity to the next level. alhamdulillah, to the whole team. And I'm sure everybody watching this video is also feeling like super fired up right now. I mean, even this guy, Gary Chapman, I think he's even feeling fired up right now because this guy is like, this is an awesome book that I was just reading, like chapter 7, guys. Like, this guy's like, I need to write another chapter 7, just because of that presentation. That's fired up. Yeah, so that's about it from my side.
Cool.
Oh,
So number one, actually I have like a little list because like I honestly benefited from that so much. No? So number one, before anything, I just want to apologize because like it was hurting me so much that I couldn't like say anything and there was silence for like 30 seconds. But just know that I appreciate you and like you did amazing. But like practicals, so like
Yeah.
So, the stuff that I like noticed on was so like the more shorter stuff was like when you pointed out like specifically about money, and I think in our time specifically now with COVID-19, I think that's like a very, very important topic because you can't exactly go out, you can't do stuff, but money is something that you need for like your basics, number one, and then maybe you're buying something online or maybe you're ordering food or whatever the case may be. So like I think that is very, very relevant. Then you spoke about timing of a gift and the intention behind the gift. I found that super amazing because like you a way that you go about giving a gift is that you don't really mind someone about that gift in the future. And you mentioned that, and I think that is very important. And then the last one that I think is the most important was you said finding out about the love language. And you said sometimes, or actually on that point, is that sometimes we don't even know our own love language. So we try to cater for other people's love languages, but we don't even know what our one is. And then specifically in the context that you were talking about, you're speaking about a parent and the teenager in this case. And you said that you find out the love language by spending time with them, right? But the thing that we sometimes think about is that we think our parents don't know our love language, so they don't cater to our needs specifically, right? But then what I did this actually one time was that someone asked me that question in reverse, and they asked me, what is the love language of your parents? And when you answer that, like when you try to think about that for a moment, you think, okay, cool. What do my parents expect from me? This is like a much simplified version. Then you think, okay, cool. Maybe they expect this, and you try to write it down. It's actually really difficult. So, like, if you try to write it down on a page and write down 5 points, what do your parents expect from you? You probably have a super long list of what you expect from your parents. They must do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But when you try to reciprocate that and think, okay, what do they want from me? It's actually like a very big eye opener. So yeah.
Okay. Cool.
thanks for that, Paul. Ninja, go for it.
Good energy, definitely. I also like the intentions of the gifts. You mentioned that, and don't remind or don't take back the gift, or like don't threaten with the gift. That kind of vibe. The example, I'm loving all the examples. You mentioned swimming and rifles, and it's just like it added to the flavor of everything. And then obviously the time, that was like 30 seconds, and it did hurt everyone. And I like that you mentioned all the love languages, because like I don't think none of us did that, and you mentioned it all, and this maybe is the first time someone's hearing of it. So it was really it was a really good thing to mention all of it, and that you mentioned that people should find out what the love language of the child is. That was good as well. So thank you.
Cool.
Just before we go on to our last presentation, Papa B, there's something that I don't even know if I still do it or I don't do it. It's something we unconsciously do, but we can try and consciously work away from it. And now I just, like before this, my feedback was kind of nicely sandwiched, right? But now I'm like kind of ending here with this point of learning for everybody. But again, just like I did before this with Thor, we mentioned a point, but it's a point for everybody. A point for you and a point for all of us is think about what our conversation filler is. I think they call it a conversation filler or something, or speech filler or something, like when there's gaps in your speech that you try to fill it. So because you speak at a high energy and a high pace, when you stop even for like a 0.3 seconds, you think it's long. So I counted, right? There's a point where I counted just over 5 seconds. You said right like three times. So it's like the words of affirmation, right? And then you mention another word and you're like, right? And then you mention another word and you're like, right? But it's like, because you're trying to fill those gaps, man. But they're not as big gaps as you think in your head because of the pace you're talking at, man. So you're talking at a solid pace and you're talking at a high energy. So those pauses seem long, man. So our minds fill it with anything, man. And the next time you listen to a speech, you can listen and you'll see with any speaker that it happens, man. It happens naturally. And some people can't get it. I'm still struggling with it, and it's relevant to me. That's why it stood out now because I'm trying to work through it. But like, and I'd heard people sometimes use big portions. They'll like be talking, and they're like, you know what I mean? And then they talk, it's like, you know what I mean? And like, you know what I mean? Or, you know, so to say. So it was like, and they talk, and then it's like, and they just use it to fill those gaps. Man. Like you got to be saying something all the time, but it's not necessarily the case. You can be quiet and continue talking, and be quiet but continue talking. Just a point for everybody there as well. And again, if it's valuable, take it. If it's not valuable, no worries. Let's just continue.
Ahmed, I think you are.
Oh yeah, that's me. Okay, cool beans. Just before we go, Mrs. Timer, or our timing ninja, I do want to when my time starts when I start talking.
Yes.
Okay, so when I start talking, you each start.
Yep.
Okay, 100%. Righto. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most merciful, especially merciful. Good evening, welcome to everybody. I'm presenting today on chapter 7 in the book, The 5 Love Languages of Teenagers. And this book has a nice slogan on the cover saying, the secret to loving teens effectively. And that's the first word that hit me. And every time I pick up this book, you obviously pick up the book, you see the cover, and it's about how effective am I in loving those teenagers and the youth in my space and in my circle. So that's always the first question that sits with me. How effective am I? And learning these love languages increases the effect that we have on our youth and on our kids and on the participants in our program, whatever it may be. And understanding them is a further tool that we need to use to be able to have that effect. And love is all about the effect. And this brings me to my first point, which is, if you look at the introduction to this chapter, they speak about this little medal that this youngster has around his neck that has something, regarding a religious figure. But this means absolutely nothing to the youngster, but he wears it all the time. He doesn't even know who this is that's on this medal, but he wears it because of the fact that this was given to him by his father every time his father had to go away in the army. And his father gave this to him and said, every time I'm gone, this will remind you about me. And the youngster wears this all of the time. And whether he's with his father or without his father, he has it with him all the time. So this gift, and my first point is that the value of a gift is not determined by the actual value, right? And this is a very relevant example to me because I gave my daughter a rock over this weekend past. Just a piece of rock that I picked up. But I think because I called her one side and I said, listen, I have something for you, man. Very special. I have no idea why, but when I picked this up, I just thought about you. I picked it up. I found it. I didn't pay a cent for it. And I gave it as a rock. And I said that when I saw it, I just thought of you, and I kept it with me till I got back. And this is for you. Today is Friday, right? This was the weekend past. Today is Friday. She carries it with her. She puts it under a pillow. She holds on to it. So the value of a gift is not its value in money or worth. The value of a gift is the value of time and effort and thought that you put into a gift. The next point that I wanna bring out from this particular book is that the author makes a statement, and I want to read the statement out to everybody. The statement, he says, is that when gifts are given as a substitute for genuine love, then teenagers see them as the shallow counterfeits they are. As the shallow counterfeits that they are. So never give a gift as a replacement for genuine love. Don't give a guilt gift. I was gone too long. Here's something. Feel okay. Never do that. Rather work hard. Take the long route. Get into the process of being effective in loving them and taking it step by step to rebuild that week or month or whatever that you feel you've neglected. Don't gift out of guilt because they will see it as that. Dad goes, I've been working with youth for a long time and they say that. My dad just goes away, then he gives me money and it just doesn't mean anything. My mom's been busy and then she just buys me something and think everything's going to be okay. So I know from experience, and again, the author brings it up over here, and this is something that I thought I have to mention to everyone. Love for the sake of loving. Gift for the sake of giving. A gift is something where you expect nothing in return. So even expecting your child to feel okay of a wrong you did because you gifted them is not, it makes your gift not a gift because you're expecting something in return. Gift for the sake of giving and love for the sake of loving. Because if we're talking about love languages and gifts is one of them, and you identify that gifts is a love language, and even if gifts isn't the love language of a child, gifts is still very powerful. So whether this is or is not the love language of your child, it's something that every child needs. It's something that every youngster needs. It's something that every teenager needs. It's something that every human being needs. So always gift for the sake of giving and love for the sake of loving, and then make it private and make it ceremonious. Whenever you have a gift, pull as much from it as you can. Make it as special as you can. Make it as personal as you can, and give it to that individual from a sincere place, and then it will be received by that individual in a sincere place. Thank you very much.
I'll hand over to Papa V.
It was amazing, man. Damn, I got some work to do. So yeah, that was awesome. I like the guilt part because I think I might be a victim of that. Like it's not really to fill a love tank or whatever the case may be, but it's like just to okay, you did something wrong, or you know you could have done something better, and then okay, here's a gift, feel better. Yeah, and now I know that it's actually a thing.
Do you mean a victim or a perpetrator? A victim is like if you were on the receiving end of that. A perpetrator
not that.
is if you
Not that. The other one. The perpetrator.
So perpetrator.
Yeah, learn perpetrator also. So the perpetrator of that, right? And yeah, so that was very valuable and personal, touching to me. And then obviously just the way you presented was very good, confident, to the point, and even your timing was very awesome. So well done, bro.
Ra'i, Shukran, Imran.
Yeah, from my side, I like the way you started off by the front cover, and looking at taking it from the front cover of the book and working it all the way straight into the beginning of the chapter 7, and then it was I would say it's a very good summary of the chapter, because it highlights the main points and also just taking it back into reality and giving some personal examples of your own daughter as well. So that's cool. Alhamdulillah, it was good.
Okay.
Cool.
2 points. So the first one is you emphasized on intention, like through the introduction, and then you painted a picture of it. And then similar thing that you did with the second part, you showed how a simple example of value with your daughter and the stone, and like you really drove it home. So I think that's one thing that in motivational speaks, or like in motivational talks and in general in public speaking, when you take something simple but effective and like you hit it for 6 men. And I think that was done really well.
Okay,
Go Ninja.
yeah, the slogan, you someone took the slogan and then you're like, how effective am I in loving the youth in my circle? And then you just went like boom boom on that, and it was just so cool. like the rock story, the value of a gift is not the monetary value, it's time, thought, and effort. You explained that point, and it was really powerful because I think like with me when I'm preparing, I was like, okay, this is the whole thing. I'll take that day, that day, that day, that day, and then you maybe took the slogan and you reflected on it, and it just brings like a different, like it brings something different and something that like I would want to listen to, and I could maybe like reflect on myself by listening to it. And yeah, I like the approach you took. It was something different.
It's a good ambiance.
Yeah, yes. The summit, like it wasn't a summary, it was more reflective. And yes, we all maybe had like our own little examples or reflections, but yours felt more. So yes.
Shukran.
Good flow.
Cool, cool, cool.
Um,
Back to you, Alpha.
From my side, it's just this is why we do. Some people's concerned, like, you know, are we all going to present the same chapter? Yes, we're going to present the same chapter. So you get to see how from 5 different youth facilitators, 5 different things stand out. And it just reminds us how different everybody is. So I just thought that I'd conclude with that remarks over there. And then Ninja's going to close up the program from her side. Yeah, Ninja, go for it.
Okay, I'd just like to say thank you to all my fellow core members for doing your presentations. It was awesome. It wasn't very scary as I thought it maybe would be. And I hope you're enjoying it whoever might watch this. And I hope you benefit as well. And we are looking forward to our level 2s, which will be presenting in the same effort as we did today. But you'll hear more about that another time. Thank you to everyone and bye. Salam.
Bye-bye.
Bye.